We go live to the summit of the Group 77 on China in Havana. Let's listen to the statement of Denzil Douglas, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Economic Development, International Trade, Investment, Industry and Commerce Development of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And I do so on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew. He is at this moment unable to participate in this summit due to his own involvement in the hosting of events related to the 40th anniversary of independence of our esteemed Twin Island Federation. I would like to thank the government and the people of Cuba for the warm hospitality extended to our delegation since our arrival here for the summit. I also take this opportunity to commend the government and people of Cuba and for their hard work and commitment in steering the activities of the Group of 77 and China since assuming the chairmanship earlier this year. Mr. President, we are indeed grateful for the opportunity to have this high-level constructive engagement whereby we can develop strategic partnerships for sustainable economic growth, which will redound to advancement of the peoples of our countries. And that's why the theme of this year's summit is quite appropriate. It recognizes that science, technology, and innovation play a fundamental role in the advancement of sustainable economies. St. Kitts and Nevis is well on its way with its objectives of pursuing a digital economy and the introduction of new innovative technologies that will help us keep apace with the latest development of artificial intelligence and technological change in an accelerated world. St. Kitts and Nevis has implemented a number of policies and initiatives geared at the digital transformation of our own education system, our agricultural sector, and health sector as well, and other areas across the governance structure and the national economy. In order to deliver on our sustainable development objectives, we seek the support of you, our friends, in ensuring that the issues of resources, the issues of capacity limitations, the issues of connectivity are adequately addressed so that no child is left behind in a brighter digital world. And so today, we again urge the international community to reform the global financial architecture that locks out small island states like St. Kitts and Nevis from accessing concessional financing for sustainable development. We also use this forum to reiterate our call for the international financial institutions to implement a multidimensional vulnerability index, the MVI, that takes into account the unique vulnerability of the Caribbean to natural disasters like hurricanes, related, of course, to climate change. We have all seen how the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the use of digital technologies and how it has highlighted the digital divide between the rich and the poor and the developed and the developing economies. This pandemic has catapulted the need for change, and so too must our countries adapt to facilitate the increased use of digital technologies in our schools, in our hospitals, and of course, in our government offices. Our STEAMs or STEMS programs will provide an avenue for our children and youth to adapt to a culture of digital services. Our vision is to use the technology for the sustainable growth and innovation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It is nigh impossible for us to achieve our goals without a robust platform of cooperation between and among ourselves as developing countries and among the more advanced countries of the global north. In short, we must place a sharper focus on South-South and triangular cooperation, covering all dimensions of the sustainable goals, development goals. And so, in so doing, we can derive tangible benefits from increased understanding of each other's cultural norms and best practices, which could be adapted to suit our domestic realities. Your Excellencies, this is a win-win scenario, as both sides stand to gain from the practice of functional cooperation. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we have made a strategic decision to transform our economy, creating a veritable sustainable island state. We recognize that science, technology, and innovation will serve as enablers and catalysts in achieving our goals in this regard. We therefore support the call for the removal of all barriers to technological advancement. These encumbrances serve to impede the technological development of developing countries and therefore should be frowned upon. Mr. President, Your Excellency, it would be remiss of me if I failed to mention the heavy toll the economic, commercial, and financial embargo has had and continues to have on the government and people of Cuba, and the role it plays in preventing them from achieving their own sustainable development goals. Yet we applaud the people of Cuba. We applaud the government. We applaud Cuba for the significant contribution that they have made in assisting so many countries during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that is why St. Kitts and Nevis calls for effective dialogue between the parties concerned, with the hope that it will ultimately lead to the removal of the embargo, which is a defeatist policy which has only served to increase the level of hardship on the people which are resident here in Cuba. And so, Mr. President, I conclude my statement. I cannot help but reflect on the catastrophic occurrences that recently took place in Libya and Morocco. We are deeply saddened by the scale of the loss of lives and destruction of infrastructure that these phenomena have caused. We express our sincere wishes for the survival of the missing and the speedy recovery of those who were injured. We also call on the international community to redouble their collective efforts and take the necessary bold steps in the implementation of the joint climate action. In this regard, St. Kitts and Nevis is committed to climate adaptation and resilience. We call on the international community to move from dialogue to action and to provide a solution to climate justice, environmental justice, and reparatory justice. We look forward to the high-level engagement that will take place on these subjects when we meet next at COP28 in the United Arab Emirates. Your Excellency, we strongly believe in the value to be derived from strengthening multilateralism to solve our common problems. Therefore, let us aim to use science, technology, and innovation to propel us to uncharted pinnacles of development, to reimagine a new digital community and reshape the fabric of the world. May it please you, Your Excellency. Thank you.
We were listening to the statement of Denzil Douglas, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Economic Development, International Trade, Investment, Industry and Commerce of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. He pointed out that the summit recognizes science, technology, and innovation, a fundamental pillar in achieving the objective of the sustainable development, and that the summit will define the founding structure of the world. More breaking news coming up. Stay tuned.